This is Danny Gafon for ESBR Boxing. We're in Liverpool. We've just had the weigh-in for Diego Pacheco versus Jack Collin. Pleasure to have with me promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, I have no idea how either of those boys make 12 stone, but we've got a fight.
Yeah, I always look at the weights of various people and then think of my weight. And like, I did look at Johnny Fisher, and I weigh exactly the same as Johnny Fisher. And I feel like I'm half the size in terms of muscle mass. So I don't know quite how they do it, but yeah, Pacheco and Cullen, both huge 168 pounders. Be a good fight, you know, good style clash. Very interesting. Diego Pacheco, who I think is one of our top stars of world boxing, all of a sudden headlining randomly in Liverpool against a kid that has plenty of support, plenty of heart, and always gives us great fights.
The co-main or dual main, whatever way you want to put it, Robbie Davis Jr. versus Darragh Foley. Again, both men in championship weight. Darragh Foley, very intense.
Yeah, and I hope Foley goes for it, you know, because sometimes people come over and talk a great game, but get in there and kind of fiddle around and let the opportunity pass them by. Seems like a nice bloke, Darragh Foley, but he has to try and win this fight. And if he does, I think he's got a chance. But Robbie Davis Jr. looks good, he's ready to progress, and I think it'll be a good fight.
Moving on, I know we done the scrum yesterday, and it was all Conor Benn, Conor Benn, Conor Benn. So we'll not spend too long on it. You said about the Benn's case that it was VADA contaminated Ulster Wolf that was in VADA's possession.
That's what Conor says. Yeah.
Conor says you confirmed that that was the case he was taking. Has that sort of lessened your trust in VADA? Will you still be using VADA testing going forward?
I think in terms of the agencies that are available in the process, they're outstanding. I've always said it. That's why we spend millions of dollars with them to do testing for fighters. We pay for, by the way. There are a number of things in the report that I'm not happy with, and I think don't look good for them. There may be reasons for them, but on the outset, I think it's very important to look at them, and I think over time they will. They're a very good agency. It's not, you know, as Conor said on Piers Morgan, this is not. I'm not saying this is deliberate, but look at the facts that have happened here, and I think, you know, that eventually people will want to look at those further.
You've also said you'd like to act as a mediator between Conor Benn and the British Boxing Board of Control. He stated he's got no intention of fighting under their licence anytime soon. Would that involve maybe trying to persuade him to drop the legal case against the British Boxing Board of Control? Maybe.
I mean, that would be up to his lawyers and his own personal advice. But I want him to fight in England. His next fight will be in America or the Middle East, but moving forward, I want him to fight in the UK. However, to do that, a lot of ego from both sides needs to be overcome. And you know, one of his gripes was that before they even looked into the test results, they fined him nearly £100,000 for something not in relation to the test results. And he felt like, firstly, I'm not going to get a fair trial, and secondly, this is very unfair. So the board have come out very strangely and started doing their own PR around this. And there's a lot of things that happened in the process that I'm not happy with as well. But like, we've been talking about this every day for 6 months. So at what point, I'm sure Robert Smith and the board are tired of talking about this. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm sure Conor Benn, that's why we want to announce his next fight. But it's going to take me to come together and say, British Boxing Board of Control, you need to stop this. You need to look into this. You need to follow your rules, respect your rules, and let's go through that process. Conor, you've got to stop now, because to fight in this country, you have to go through this process. And I want him to, and I believe he will. But at the moment, you can imagine the emotion and the rawness, and we'll have to see what happens. But his next fight will be announced, hopefully this week.
On Conor's next fight, the two main names that have been abandoned amount are Manny Pacquiao and Chris Eubank Jr. I get the sense you would prefer the Eubank Jr. fight. Which would you say is more likely at this stage?
Well, the Pacquiao fight's ready to make. You know, Eubank needs to decide whether he wants to make that fight. It's a huge fight for him, much more money than the Liam Smith fight, but maybe he doesn't want to fight Conor Benn. You know, the fight would now be at 160, no catch weight. Yeah. You know, the first fight was about kind of family history. This is about pure hate now. So, of course, as a promoter, I want to make that. It would also be great to work with Manny Pacquiao. I've never done a Pacquiao fight. They're all over us for the fight. You've got Kell Brook wants to fight Conor Benn. You've got other fighters in America want to fight Conor Benn. So, you know, we'll see, but it will be a huge fight next for him. He doesn't want a comeback fight, he wants to jump straight in the deep end.
Moving on from Conor, Anthony Joshua, big comeback fight with Jermaine Franklin, getting closer. He's been in Dallas now for about 3 months. Have you been speaking to him much? How's he been enjoying life in Texas? Do you know what?
Not much, actually. I've kind of been letting him to get on with it. I'm going to drop him a line today because he's been very quiet. I've seen pictures, he looks in unbelievable shape. He's taken a small team now. He's worked hard behind closed doors, and he's ready to put in a performance April 1st at the O2. I'm nervous, I'm excited, feels like another chapter, a rebirth if you like, and all the shit going on with Fury and Usyk. Great time to go out there and make a statement and show everyone what you're made of.
A lot's been made of ticket sales. There's been screenshots of the O2 circulating on social media. You said in an interview the other day there's a few thousand left. You reckon it will be full on the night? That said, I think it's fair to say there still has been a decline from the days he was filling out the Millennium, filling out Wembley. Does that make it sort of extra important that he goes in against Jermaine Franklin, makes a statement, stops him early and gets people excited about the career of Anthony Joshua again?
Yeah, he's coming off 2 defeats. You know, of course you're not going to be the same size commercially as you were when you beat Vladimir Klitschko in front of 90,000. But he's a great fighter. He's one of the best heavyweights in the world. I feel like he can still be the best heavyweight in the world. And you know, it's difficult times as well. Yeah, we've sold 14,000 tickets at the O2. We've got a couple of thousand left, which will all go. The fighters get their tickets this week as well, so there's not going to be many left. But he needs to make a statement, and he needs to get people excited about Anthony Joshua again. We all love him. The country loves him. But do they believe in him as a top heavyweight? April the 1st, we will see.
Staying with the heavyweight division, Alex Krasik done an interview last night. Didn't look good for the chances of Fury Usyk. He said he thinks they could offer Fury a 90% split and he still wouldn't take the fight. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think hasn't Fury come out just now and said he'll take 70-30, which I think is outrageous, really. I mean, it's really disrespectful to the guy who has the majority of the belts in the division, the guy who's beaten AJ twice, the guy that's beaten every champion on the road to become undisputed at cruiserweight. Commercially, Tyson Fury has bigger value than Usyk. But when you want to make a fight like that, like if you listen to an interview from Frank Warren a few months ago, he says, easy fight to make, 50-50. And I think in Frank Warren's head, when he was trying to make this fight, that's what he was thinking. And I probably would have thought the same. Because if you really want it, that's how you just get it made. If you don't want it, you find a way to not do it. And the way to not do it is say, I want 70-30. So I don't think you'll see Fury against Usyk next, which will be a big shame. But very difficult man to deal with, as we've seen on many occasions.
Moving on to someone else in your stable, well sorry, formerly in your stable I should say, Joshua Buatsi. Reports came out this week that he's left 258. He's a promotional free agent now. What's going on there? Will you still have matching right for Joshua?
Yeah, we have.
Are you confident you could secure the next fight?
He got made an offer which we did match, and you know, we'll see what we do moving forward. We've offered him well over £1 million to fight Joshua Buatsi, to fight Dimitri Bivol, and he turned it down, and that's disappointing. You know, we want him to fight Callum Smith or Bivol, and I think he wants to fight Dan Aziz. So we'll have to see. But Josh is a great fighter, and we'll see what his future holds.
What's the thinking, in your opinion, why he would turn down an opportunity, the payday against Bivol? Is it a lack of confidence? Does he not think he's ready for that step up?
I don't know. It's one for him, you know. But he's a very good fighter. I believe he can win world titles.
Another fighter you've worked with in the past, O'Hara Davis, put in career best performance in the eyes of many against Lewis Ritson last weekend. Seems in line for a shot at the WBA world title next year. A lot of people think he could be in line for a signing with a big promoter. Would you consider working with O'Hara again? I think it's fair to say things didn't end in the best terms last time.
You know what? I was pleased for O'Hara. I've known him a long time. He still talks about us. I think we did a great job for him. I don't agree with what happened at the time. I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago. But I was really pleased to see him come back, because I think there's been times in O'Hara's career where he could have faded away, but he's worked hard, he's stuck at it, and that was a great win for him, and he's a good fighter.
A couple more, but on the light-hearted side. We saw this video doing the rounds of Jake Paul fleeing from Floyd Mayweather. What did you make of it? I seen like one report saying there was like 20 of Floyd's henchmen, and another one that looked like one other fella. I'm not sure henchmen are really the right. I mean, it's security guards. But listen, I probably would have done the same thing. It's a terrible look for a fighter. Like, no fighter would have run away like that in boxing, because they're not built like that. But Jake Paul's not a fighter. He doesn't come from that world. So he's thinking, how do I get myself out of this situation? Just leg it. But unfortunately, sometimes you just got to stand your ground and take a pasting if that's what's going to happen. Would it be a pace on the cobbles? Jake Paul's got that wrestling background. Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather, who wins?
I don't know. It probably wouldn't have been Jake Paul against Floyd Mayweather. That's probably the reason why he ran.
Last one. As well as promoter, you're known for your image these days. You've went through a bit of a transformation. Another promoter's changed up his look recently. Leonard Elby's done a new beard. What do you make of it?
Someone sent me the picture and goes, "What have you done to Leonard?" And I was like, "That's not Leonard." But yeah, a little Father Christmas beard. He's chilling out, isn't he? He's enjoying his retirement, and you know, good luck to him.
Cheers, Elliot.
Cheers, mate.